Asha's question and what you have mentioned, how do you perceive the role of AI in shaping the mindset of masses, especially in social and political context? Do you see AI as a boon or a bane? And how do you see the role of AI in governance and position of government as a stakeholder in generative AI?
Before coming into the campus, I was sitting outside in a coffee shop. I was having coffee. There was a startup guy sitting there, busy with his laptop. He looked at me, I looked at him. Both had time. I said, who are you? He said, sir, I'm some startup guy. He asked me, who are you? I said, I'm doing politics here. Within 30 minutes, let us discuss. I said, which field you are? And he said, I'm in the people hiring field. I said, it's going okay? He said, no, sir, AI has disrupted everything, sir. Now all resumes are fake, sir. People write all beautiful things, and we are taking so much time to realize what is right and what is wrong. All statement of purpose, very fancy ones they write. It looks so believable, very emotional. And it just happened to me. It just happened to me 30 minutes before, outside your campus, in the road across in a coffee shop. So 100% it is going to disrupt. Massive disruption is on. And let me go one step further. For a country like us, which is just getting into that orbit of high growth, because your second part of the question is about how the country AI disruption. And we are just warming up to get into that orbit of $10,000 per capita income. We are about $5,000 now. And we have an ambition to reach there. Now I'm going to read out the statistics for you. Since you are Max guys, I prepared something in my computer and came. And what is India's GDP now? So we are about 3.8 trillion, give or take a little bit million here and there, 3.8 trillion. So China's GDP is about 17.9 trillion today. I hope it is a true figure from China, because nobody knows what is the true figure. $17.9 trillion. And the Americans are somewhere around $37.8 trillion today. Americans are at 37.8. I'm getting the acknowledgement from the professor, which means my numbers are right. 3.8, 17 and 37 is the number we are looking. I was just calculating, when I go to IIT campus, these guys are going to make my country, our country, the developed country by 2047, correct? That is our goal. So I was thinking, how will you guys do it? So I did a simple mathematics calculation. If India is growing 13.5% from today, remember, no country has grown 13.5% for more than 2 years. If India is growing 13.5% today, for the next 25 years, compounded annual growth rate, CAGR, F30.5, next year 13.5. America is growing at 4% from today. 4%, 25 years. In 2047, we and US are equal. So you have to grow 13.5% every year. Americans have to grow at 4.5% every year. So that 2047, both sit at the same table and say, hello boss, both our economies are same. If we are growing at 13.5% today, for the next 2042 is what? Today in 2024, 18 years? Yeah, 18 years. Next 18 years, you are growing at 13.5%, 18 years, top. China is growing 4% next 18 years, top. Then you will say, hello boss, we are equal. Now, look at the challenge. Can you grow at 13.5%? Because 2047, we have kept a target of $38 trillion now. From 3.8, we have to reach 38 trillion. Traditional ways of business is 100% not going to give you 13.5. Max 7 right now. Do well with a good prime minister, good policy, 8.5. Country aligns in the political sphere. All state governments wants to be in the business mode and less politics and more governance. All states in India, maybe 9.5. Then more IITs churning out intelligent guys like you. You're not going to US, I'm assuming. You all stay in our country and you all stay in our country for the next 25 years. Do everything. 10.5. Correct? And China problem solved, Pakistan problem solved, everything solved. And there is no nuisance, political nuisance like me. Everybody is sober and everybody is good. 11.5. Correct? We are talking of 13.5. 2047 equal. So now you're talking of artificial intelligence disruption, 3D technology, traditional manufacturing practices going for a toss. Americans are telling no more buying from China. Next president, you have to manufacture in US. And you're like, hello boss, you manufacture in US, it will be costly. To hell with it, manufacture in US. If US starts back manufacturing in a big way with the Elon Musk and people of the world, if the Europe starts manufacturing within them, and they don't want to get into this cost arbitrage, which China mastered for a long time, so you have to understand that is the world you are entering tomorrow morning.
Population. Also, a follow-up question on what Vikram added. I think we are seeing a lot of amazing GenAI tools coming up like ChatGPT and other, and all of these are coming from Western countries. Like India hardly has any big tools. Like two big reasons: we lack a right framework, and we also lack right talent pool. And this will widen the gap of urban versus rural in India. So I think that's another area we would like to hear your views.
Whatever AI you're generating, producing, sits on top of other networks. So AI is applied on top of a network. AI can be applied on top of a production network. You can apply AI in a factory. You can apply AI on a consumption network. So, people are consuming something, you're distributing something, you can apply AI on that. So AI sits on top of a network, right? I'll tell you a very interesting story to demonstrate the power of this thing. It's not directly related to AI. The United States attacks Iraq. Okay? Within 25 days, it has wiped out the entire Iraqi military. And then 6 months later, something happened. And suddenly, US soldiers were dying every day. And within a 6-month period, the US Army lost about 1,000 armored vehicles. So how did a country or a system that couldn't take on the United States at all and failed to take them on, suddenly 6 months later, literally broke their back? What happened? Saddam Hussein came from a tribe called the Tikriti tribe. This tribe was the center of the Iraqi regime. When Saddam Hussein realized that America aa raha hai, he told all his Tikriti guys, bhaiya, tum log bhago. What did he do? He basically took 155mm shells. You know what they are? Artillery shells. And he distributed them to all these guys. And he said, gaon mein inko le jao. And these guys took these artillery shells and they dug them in the ground. That's all. So what I'm trying to tell you, the Tikriti network came together, cell phone network came together, and the explosive shells came together. 3 networks that were disconnected came together. And they literally obliterated the superpower in Iraq. So the game is about bringing unconnected networks together. Now, what is the biggest problem in India? Our biggest networks are not connected at all. So you guys are a tiny network. You're 1% of the country. Very small network. You're not connected to anything else. I mean, if you really want to bring India's power to bear, then you have to think about these things. Networks are energy, right? The moment you bring them together, it doesn't become 1 + 1 + 1. It becomes exponential. Blam, it just goes. If you use that framework, you can see that that's a very powerful framework in politics. It's a very powerful framework in business. Samajwadi Party network joined with Congress network. Earlier that network was like this. Now the network is suddenly lined up together. Now, the problem is in India is that pretty much all the conversations that we're having of development, etc., exclude 90% of our population. Meaning the really powerful network is sitting outside. So what is the role of technology and IT is to apply your understanding and knowledge on those networks. But right now what the game is taking place is you're in 1% or not able to apply the stuff in the large 90% of India. And then these networks are not only physical networks, right? So there are caste networks in India. There are business networks